media. Facts. I'm creating a new intro, so it'll be the same every time. And when I make new content, I make a new intro with me doing all sorts of other stuff. But this is, some people might laugh at this. I'd take it more seriously. Elon Musk's dad coming out comparing Tommy Robinson to Nelson Mandela. And, it's sensationalized headlines, clickbaity, you might say, but it's not. I'm going to disappear and let you listen and let you form your own opinion. Cheers, guys.
But anyway, kicked off Good Morning Britain for saying that Tommy Robinson was the new Nelson Mandela. Errol Musk joins us. Errol, look, I think I can, in my mind, imagine why you said it, but why don't you just lay out the case for Tommy Robinson being the new Nelson Mandela?
Well, thank you very much. Yes. No, what I said was that many leaders in the modern world and even in the past few hundred years were at some time imprisoned by the opposition. So yes. In this case, you have the same thing. You have Tommy Robinson, who's been imprisoned on sort of very, very flimsy reasons and placed in solitary confinement. So in that respect, he's very similar to someone like Nelson Mandela, who was in fact a vastly more prolific scoundrel in his day than Tommy Robinson ever would have been, you know?
They don't always turn out good. Look at Adolf Hitler. He went to prison and things went downhill from there, didn't they, with him? So I'm not comparing anyone to him, though, like some people do.
Yeah, so did Mussolini, so did Ho Chi Minh, so did Nehru, and you can just go on and on and on.
Some of them turn out all right, some don't.
Errol, is your view fundamentally, and it appears to be the view of Elon, that that Tommy Robinson fundamentally is a political prisoner, and what you are interested in is what he's saying, the claims he's making? Because one thing I will say to you, Errol, that annoys me, when people go, do you know about Tommy Robinson? Yes, I know everything about him. I know his job, I know what convictions he's had, I know everything other than whether he's right or wrong. That's the one study that we're unwilling to do. Is that roughly your view?
Well, you know, Tommy Robinson is well known for having drawn attention to the gang rape gangs. So I think in that respect, he's done a great job.
In fact, Elon picked it up from him, didn't he? He basically picked it up from Tommy Robinson, and Elon tweeted it out, and it became this furore. So it came from him originally.
Yes, possibly. All I know is that from what I can see, and I'm not stupid, I've been around a long time, you know, this Tommy Robinson deserves a proper hearing. He needs to be released. He's a political prisoner and he needs to be released. And there needs to be a proper, non-partisan, independent inquiry that must come up with results in about 4 weeks. Within 4, maybe 6 weeks, a complete explanation of this gang rape, gang stuff.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? People are deflecting by going on about Tommy Robinson or Jess Phillips. And forget all that. There's girls being raped and tortured right now. I think they should forget an investigation and just go and all police forces should set out a task force and rescue the girls and then have the investigation who's to blame, because it's a national emergency.
Yes, having an inquiry is a national emergency right now. This is not a joke. This is not something that you can shelve and ask some silly commission to come up with an answer in 5 years' time. No. People want to know now. Everyone wants to know now. And it's not only, I've been asked, what's it got to do with me? I'm an Englishman. I live in one of the far-flung regions of the world that England created. My family live in England. We are all children of England. England helped us when we were battling, and it's now our turn to turn back and see what we can do to help England.
Errol, yesterday, and this is a sad thing, the United Arab Emirates put 11 people living in Britain onto their terror watch list, and there are 8 British organisations now that are prescribed terrorist organisations. Errol, I just want you to talk, not necessarily as yourself, not as Elon Musk's father, but just as somebody who is English by sort of history and heritage.
Your mother was from Liverpool,
about the fact that we now have a serious Islamic nation claiming that we are harbouring jihadists that are a threat to their national security. How on earth is this viewed amongst the people that you talk to?
No, I mean, it's absolutely shocking. This is not England. England is the place we look to for example. If we don't know what to do, we say, what would England do? When I say England, I mean the 4 places in England.
Yes.
Yes. We now have England being taught lessons by other somewhat lesser countries, if you ask me.
Yes.
Why has that happened, do you think? Is it because, we haven't had any major wars and we've gone all soft, and when you become soft, you sort of become liberal?
Well, there's a certain amount of truth in that. On the other hand, the direction in England has always been to give everybody a break, try and give everybody a chance. It's always been like that. And it's perhaps gone a little too far, maybe a little too far. But, in my opinion, the English way has always been the right way. So we need to simply have a proper investigation into this incredible stuff.
So Errol, let me ask you this.
Hey guys, myself personally, not long just got up, had what you would call a lay-in. Just got out of the shower, so excuse me, and I'm on me puffer. But Elon Musk's dad spitting facts, absolute facts. I really like Elon Musk's dad, and I'm learning more and more about Errol Musk, by the day. I didn't realise that he had such strong connections with England and the UK. Anyway, continue.
I've never spoken to you before, but obviously I think that anyone in my position who's a conservative commentator will have a great deal of respect for what your son's done, not just on the Tommy Robinson thing, not just on both encouraging Farage and having a go at him when he disagreed with him, both of which I think were useful, if I'm being honest, but also the purchase of Twitter. What is he up to? Because we're hearing today that he is absolutely desperate to assist Brits in this, probably for the same reasons that you do, and is now in discussions potentially to assist the removal of Keir Starmer. What's your take on that?
Yes, I completely agree with my son. Completely, totally agree with him. But you must remember, it's just that he's a very outstanding individual, and as a result, people can hear what he says. But many, many people, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions, are saying the same thing as Elon. It's not just Elon. It's that Elon is more visible,
And he shoots from the hip, doesn't he? When he thinks something, it's the same with his businesses, and it's why he's been successful in the rockets and everything. It's because when he thinks something, he's sort of he'll go for it. And, maybe the Jess Phillips tweet was a bit, heavy-handed, but it made a point. And the important thing is to find these girls and look into what happened, and he's been the catalyst for that.
Yes, no, he doesn't play around. One thing I can say about my son, he doesn't mess around. So you can take him at his word. He thinks very carefully before he says anything. He doesn't just come up with stuff. He really does think about it before he says something.
But then he goes for it, doesn't he? Very one-directional. If you think he's a conviction politician, he will be, I suppose, in a month.
Yes, no, you can bank. You know, what he says you can take to the bank.